Okay. We're live. Okay, looks like we're live. Day 394. Today, what we're doing is we're continuing to add on to our list of 4-bedroom properties coming onto the market. Now, today, I've been looking at filters on properties for 4-bedroom plus, single-family homes only, properties that's been on the market for less than 3 days. Now, the reason why I want to do this is I want to keep a pulse on this market to see what are 4-bedroom properties coming onto the market for. Because typically, I want to see what is the sold prices going for. Why do I want to do that? Well, if you are following the BRRRR strategy to buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, the whole goal and strategy behind that process is to be able to rinse and repeat and reuse the same amount of invested capital over and over again so you can scale a lot faster. Now, let's just say your property is worth $50,000 and you can renovate a property for $20,000. If you can get that property to be worth, let's call it $100,000, you can go get a 75% loan debt service coverage ratio loan, which will allow you to take a loan back out for 70% of that. So if it's a property's worth $100,000, you can pull back out $70,000, $75,000 in the form of a loan. Now that money is essentially given back to you for all the invested capital, and you quote unquote have $30,000 of equity left in the project, excluding holding costs. And that allows you to take the same $70,000 and do it all over again, right? Assuming you can find a similar type of deal. Now, in order for your ARV to be correct, you got to be really close on your your after repair value. So if your after repair value is incorrect, then you would be either grossly underestimating or grossly overestimating your ARV. And that will affect tremendously the amount of capital that you can pull back out, okay? So this is why we're writing down all these details, because we want to keep a pulse on the properties in this area. And this is a 4-bed, 2.5 bath. Let me kind of pull this out here so I can see it. 2450. This property was built in 1965. The acreage is 0.26 acres. This is listed 2 days ago, so listed 10/26/24. So it's a relatively new listing. This is being listed for $189,000. $189. That's going to be equals to $1 per square foot of $77 per square foot. And you can kind of see that in general, this zip code have seen some properties in the below hundreds, some properties in the highs. And let's see what neighborhoods are these in. This property does not have a garage, doesn't not have a basement, and no HOA. And let's see what neighborhood this property is in. This property is in close to Avalon Park. Closest to Avalon. I'm just gonna do Avalon Park. That's the closest neighborhood, and it looks like okay kitchen and bathrooms. Some flooring is dated, could use some refinishing. So this tells me that this isn't the top of the top, from what I've been seeing in terms of modern kitchens and modern bathrooms, but that's okay. I mean, this is why you want to note down these, because you understand, hey, if I renovate a property to this condition that generally looks like this property that we just went through on 2847 either Novel or Novell Drive, then I can expect to see a similar dollar per square foot, right? This bathroom looks okay, right? Solid, nothing crazy about it. I mean, this other living room, I don't know what this is. Maybe it's another living quarters, but you see the laundry room right there with a separate entrance. So you can kind of see that, well, that's how much it should be worth if I renovate a home to look like that, or I don't do too much extra, right? Okay, and that hardwood floors, good to know. Now, for me to figure out what this property will cash flow, let's do a quick analysis, right? I know that this is probably not going to be a deal because I've been looking properties here for a while and I know what listing prices are, so I can quickly roll it out. But let's go through the exercise. So for me to get the market rent for this property, I went to affordablehousing.com and I went to the owner section, went to the market rent estimator, plugged in the address, plugged in the bedroom count, and I saw that the average rent for 25 units within a 2.99 mile radius is $13.85. Okay, great. $13.85. Plug that right into B16, $13.85, and let me get the rest of my details. I think for this property, it's probably in a pretty good condition. Maybe I can do some painting on the home just because it looks a little tired. I can replace 3 of the toilets with high pressure flush toilets. This was a, let's assume the only property, only about half of it needs to get painted, and only half of the home needs to get refinished with flooring. So that leaves me pretty good with a pretty good cosmetic look for it, and I can make the home look a little bit brighter. So it gives me a total rehab about 14 grand, give or take. Very cosmetic still. Now, if I get my property taxes here, what does that look like? My property taxes, whoops. I'm gonna get that right from my reference payment calculator. Obviously, for any property tax estimates, you should always check with your county assessor records. This property tax estimate is 147. So let's plug that in, 147. For insurance, this is 146. So I want to equals 146 times 1.2. And the reason I'm multiplied by 1.2 is because typically insurance estimates for an investment property is going to be higher because insurance companies view investment properties as higher risk. So that's why I'm adding a 20% premium by multiplying it by 1.2. Okay. Then I got 10% for my maintenance. So these are expenses that you know you're going to have to incur at some point, right? You know you're going to get a roof replacement. I just got a roof replacement bill for $15,000 at our Scottsdale property. And if you didn't budget this money aside or had enough time to build the reserves, then all the cash flow that you might have made to date might essentially be drained, right? Like I probably only budgeted for about 5% on like an Airbnb in Scottsdale. And these typical 10-year, 15-year expenses are now coming due, quote unquote, due in 2 years, right? That's something that you might not expect. And that is why you gotta stay away from withdrawing cash flow too early. You really want to build the reserves, otherwise you might get hit. For example, we got some parts that need to get replaced in the air conditioners. You had to do it because it's so hot. Well, it turned out to be $3,500. So now you add in a $15,000 bill for the roof. You add in another $3,500 for the air conditioner units. And now all of a sudden, whoa, you're at like $18,000. That might be almost 2 years, 3 years of cash flow if you didn't budget it correctly. But sometimes you just don't expect things to come so soon. So this is what I mean by you can't expect everything to go smoothly. You learn not just from these mistakes, but you just learn from this experience that, hey, don't withdraw your cash flow too early. All right. And I'm really glad that we did not. And then you have property management for 10% of your property management, and you got 5% for your vacancy expenses. All right. So if I bought this property for, let's say, 20% down using an F19, my down payment is going to be equals to asking price in B4 multiplied by my down payment percentage, and that's going to be a $38,000 down payment roughly. You have 2.5% for closing costs, $14,000 for renovations. For my finance amount, I'm taking the B4, my listing price, minus my down payment. That's going to be equals to $151,000. That's what I'm borrowing. So at a 7.25% interest rate, I will cash flow on this property, assuming you rent it out as a 4-bedroom property and you're renting out for $1,385, you'd be negative cash flow $315 a month. That is not a sustainable investment, all right? And obviously, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on this call. I'm simply showing you all the work I do every single day to put in the reps. That's all I'm doing, all right? That's assuming $14,000 rehab, 20% down, 7.25% interest rate. So I'll do one more scenario. What purchase price would this have to be in order for this cash and cash return number in E9? So pay attention to what happens in E9. When I lower to 80 grand, well, all of a sudden it's 10.5%. Okay. Now that assumes everything else stay constant, renting out for $1,385 still, but I can cash for $280 because I'm buying this property for nearly 100 grand cheaper. And this is what I mean by when you do this enough, you can quickly draw out these deals and you understand, hey, purchasing this property using the conventional debt service coverage ratio loan might not be a deal. Now, again, not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on this call. Just simply showing you all the work I do every single day. And this is the important takeaway. You got to understand your own risk appetite. You got to understand your execution risk, right? Do you have a contractor that's going to show up and do the right thing and do this on time and just do what they say they're going to do? Because that's execution risk. You got to think about that. Okay. Now, going forward, I mean, you got to understand your investment priorities. I mean, some people would just say, hey, I'm okay buying $1 million home in Southern California because, well, maybe it goes up 5% every single year. Again, that's very speculative, very risky, but it goes up 5% every single year. That's like $50,000. They might not even care that they can make $200 a month, right? Because they're making significantly more year over year on their equity. Is that guaranteed? No, not at all. But you can also argue that cash flow isn't always guaranteed either. Okay. So please make sure you put in the reps. You really do this every single day. And my hope is that you copy my homework, right? Look at the same deal today, 2847 Novel Drive in Bessemer, Alabama, just outside of Birmingham. Birmingham's a major city. And just copy my homework, right? Go to affordablehousing.io, not .com, .io. Put in your name, your email, your phone number. You can get a copy of the spreadsheet. It's a very simple, straightforward one. I got it from a few other folks. I didn't make it from scratch. And I just modified it to just so that I know what to do really quick, really fast. And I hope you put it on your own YouTube channel. And I think that's how you figure out how to tell other people that, especially if they ask you why you think there's a deal, you'd be like, I know there's a deal because I've been analyzing deals for this past 394 days, every single day. Might that give you some confidence? I certainly hope so. All right. I hope you all have an amazing Monday. I hope you all are able to spend some quality time with some family and friends today, because that's what life is all about. Have an amazing day. Talk to you all tomorrow for day 395. Have a good one, everybody.